Natalie Siston's career has taken her from Silicon Valley to the Fortune 100 and into entrepreneurship. But being raised in Republic, Ohio, population 600, is where she learned her greatest leadership lessons. Although she's been speaking professionally for over 15 years, her proudest public speaking accomplishment was winning a purple ribbon at the Ohio State Fair when she was 10. This story and many others are shared in her best selling book, Let Her Out, Reclaim Who You Have Always Been. Natalie helps leaders make their companies feel like small town through coaching, consulting, and speaking. She looks forward to showing you that big things happen in small towns during today's presentation. So let's welcome Natalie Siston.
It was a regular Sunday morning. I was 8 years old, sitting on the living room floor, holding my bowl of cereal and watching cartoons, when all of a sudden the phone rang. My mom was sitting at the kitchen table enjoying her cup of coffee before church, and she got up to answer it. And all of a sudden she cried out, "They did what? Who did this?" I crept into the kitchen. I had to know what was going on because clearly something big was happening. 3 years later, we're finishing up our Sunday night chicken dinner when the same phone in the same kitchen rang. My mom stood up to answer. It didn't take more than a few seconds and she went completely still. She said, "Oh my God, how are we going to tell her?" I don't know what was being said on the other end of the phone, but my heart dropped into my stomach because I knew something big was happening. 3 years later, the phone rang late on a Tuesday night. We were expecting the call, and as soon as I heard my mom's shout of jubilation, I went to bed with a smile on my face. The phone was the heartbeat of Republic, Ohio, population 600. It's the place I call home and the central character of my life's story. Those phone calls defined who we were as a town, who we were as friends and neighbors. They represent our highest of highs and our lowest of lows. The second call is one that I will never forget because it changed my life and the life of our entire town forever. All I heard come through the dialogue was undiagnosed heart condition. He's gone. The he was referring to was the boy I had loved since kindergarten, the one I passed secret notes to in class. He was the one our entire town was rooting for because he was the star of the baseball team, the math whiz, an all-around good kid. And now all we knew was he was gone at age 11 due to an undiagnosed heart condition. I am not sure how our small town recovered from such immense grief, but we did. Big things happen in small towns. The third call is the one we were anticipating. It came late on a Tuesday night in November, which can only mean one thing. There was something big on the ballot that day. On that month's ballot was a funding issue for our school. And if the funding issue passed, life as we knew it in our small town would continue with band and art and sports. And if that funding issue failed, it was all gone. And along with it, the dreams that every small town kid brings with them to the stage and onto the playing field. I was supposed to be in bed, but I couldn't sleep. I had my ear against that door, waiting for the phone to ring, and I finally heard it. And when I heard my mom's shout of joy, I got under the covers and I smiled because now I got to be part of big things happening in our small town. You might be wondering, well, what about that first call? The one that came when you were 8 on Sunday morning before church? But that's a pretty good one. You know how small towns love their big signs? We finally got one, and it read, Republic, Ohio, small in size, big in heart. The night before that phone call, vandals took to the sign, and it now read, Republic, Ohio, small in size. Vandals were never caught, but the incident lives on through every retelling of this story. These calls, these stories are how I learned to care, how I learned to question, to give, to grieve, and to love. The next time you drive through a town so small, there's not even a traffic light or a stop sign, think of these stories and remember that big things happen in small towns. Thank you so much.